Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/am I the butthole? I have my mouth guard in, have a huge migraine, so I need it in. So if I sound a little bit lispy, apologies. It's the only way to stop my jaw from clenching right now and hurting my little teeth. So yeah, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, first post, posted by OKIncome9731. Would I be the butthole for changing my baby's name after my mum secretly told my sister I was pregnant? I, 39F, have always had a difficult relationship with my parents. A lot of it comes from how they handled my older sister, 44F, who was verbally and physically abusive to me growing up. They never protected me from her, and she was always very clearly the golden child. Even as an adult, the patterns have continued. For example, my mum left to visit her when I was making a special trip to see them, even though I was driving 15 hours. What? Over the last 10 years, I have tried to rebuild my relationship with them, partly because my husband has a healthy family and encouraged me to. Things seem to be getting better with a lot of effort from me and some from them. Now I'm pregnant after struggling with infertility for a long time. Early on, I was private about the pregnancy because I was afraid of miscarriage. I was especially clear that I did not want my sister to know because she has used vulnerable things against me before and has been cruel about my infertility in the past. When I first told my parents, I told them not to tell anyone. Later, when I was more comfortable sharing, I told them that they could tell others, but not my sister. I repeated this boundary at least 3 separate times, and I have text messages documenting it. Both of them agreed. Well, we can already guess what happened next, can't we? I recently found out that my mum told my sister anyway, and apparently did so right away. Then she lied about it for around 3 months. She only admitted it after I explained how much it meant to me that my sister not be included in my pregnancy information. This really hurt me, not just because of the pregnancy itself, but because it feels like the same old pattern of my sister's feelings mattering more than mine. Since this incentive, I've gone low contact with my mum. Before this happened, I naively planned to give my baby my mother's first name as her middle name. For me, it was a testament to our growing relationship, and I honestly thought that we turned over a new leaf, especially with the baby coming. I had even already shared the plan for the baby's full name with our whole family, both sides. Now, I don't want to do that anymore. Every time I think of using her name, I feel upset instead of happy. I mean, fair enough. Oops, I've just knocked my hairbrush off the desk. Fair enough, honestly, because I genuinely hate it when people take someone else's news and tell people, especially if they've been told not to. You know, even if you've not been told not to, you just don't say anything until that person specifically says, you can tell this person, that person, whatever. Just keep it to your damn self. It's not your news. And especially for the mum, knowing that there is a very rocky relationship with the sister and that the sister was absolutely vile to the OP, and then the parents prioritizing the sister and, you know, not putting the OP first at any point, and the OP voicing that is why they were not happy and talking to their parents very much. You'd think they'd learnt. Clearly not. But honestly, I don't blame the OP at all for going, no, do you know what? Forget it. I'm not doing that. Because yeah, why would you want a reminder from your own child's name of how little you mean to someone? Because that's obviously what it's going to feel like to the OP. Anyway, so would I be the butthole for changing the middle name? My mum will absolutely be hurt. It's not like she's ever considered your feelings, let's be honest, OP, so does it really matter? And there will probably be tears and drama. Part of me feels guilty because I know this will look retaliatory, especially since I had already announced the name. But another part of me feels like honouring someone in my child's name should mean something. it absolutely should. And right now, I don't feel like honouring her. Also, if you have any ideas for minimising the fallout of doing this, I would greatly appreciate it. Honestly, you should never have to explain yourself to anybody about why you chose what name and what for. And your mum should, realistically, if she had half a brain cell in her head, realise why you've done this, why you're choosing not to use the name. It's not like you've never spoken to her about the problems that you have with them oversharing your private business with the sister that was absolutely awful to you. So, I mean, if she wants to kick off, you just got to take the attitude of, crack on, my dear. You kick off, you do what you want. I gave you chance after chance, and you completely pissed all over it. So I've done my bit. Like, sucks to suck. So, down in the comments, Trailsia quotes the OP saying, "Over the last 10 years, I have tried to rebuild my relationship with them." Stop. Stop doing that. Doesn't matter what your husband encourages you to do, he doesn't know because he was from a stable family. Stop putting in all this effort and getting almost nothing back. Surround yourself with people who do care. Friends, colleagues, neighbours, or perhaps even people you meet at a pregnancy gym. Stop having these expectations from your family. Not the butthole if you change the name. Don't let them argue with you about it. Call less, visit less, stop updating your mum. You minimise the fallout by not being available to let them argue with you. So don't pick up the phone. If they text, be slow to reply, etc. Exactly. That is the best way to deal with people like this. Do not stoke the fire, basically. If they want to kick off, let them kick off. You just sit back, relax, enjoy your pregnancy, enjoy your baby when the baby comes, and let them do whatever they're going to do, because regardless of what the OP does, someone's going to be miserable. And why should it be the OP? Because it's been them enough already. They have done more than enough of being the punching bag, and it is not fair. So again, sucks to suck. That is to the mum, of course. Anyway, next post, posted by VFact. Am I the butthole for telling my soon-to-be ex that I won't drive him to his vasectomy appointment? What an odd request for someone to make of their ex. My husband, 56M, and I, 52F, are in the process of getting a divorce. We are divorcing because he was constantly on dating apps. Ew. He says he is addicted and can't stop himself. Go to therapy then, you loser. I also want to note that I am the breadwinner and pay for all the household bills, while he only pays his specific bills, car, phone, etc. We also still live together until he saves up enough to move out. Honestly, OP, I can't imagine why you would want to divorce this man. I mean, it's a mystery. What the fuck? This morning, he told me that he wanted to schedule a vasectomy appointment and wanted to know if I would drive him there. I told him no, and that I thought it was extremely insensitive of him to even ask that. He said it's a medical procedure and he will be in a lot of pain. Oh no! He then got upset that I wouldn't take him. I said that it's a procedure for you to not have to worry about pregnancy scares so you can fuck younger women. He was always going after the younger women on the dating apps. To be honest, I already knew. I don't know how I already knew. I just already knew. And has it in his head that most younger women want an older man. So, am I the butthole for not taking him to his medical procedure? By the way, if it was anything else, I would have absolutely taken him. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely wouldn't. Not my problem anymore. Not my monkeys, not my circus. You are getting a divorce. He's not a soon-to-be ex. He is an ex in everything but on paper. So, fuck him. He has done more than enough to deserve for you to not help him with anything. Tell him to sling his hook. And yeah, this is an elective thing, so he can't go knocking people up. It's not like he's having, I don't know, a heart surgery. I don't know why heart surgery was the first one that come to my head, but it's not like it's something actually medically necessary for him to survive. Edit. I wasn't expecting all of these responses. I am truly overwhelmed, but in a good way. I never thought I would be the type to be in an emotionally and financially abusive relationship. Honestly, that's because most of the time they sneak up on you. You think you've done your due diligence and pick someone good, and then once they've got you nice and settled down, they change. And it happens slowly too. It's like they sprinkle it in and it gets worse and worse and worse, and then bam. Oh my god, what's gone on? Everything's upside down and I don't know how it happened. Anyway, it has completely destroyed my self-worth, and it has taken everything for me to pull the trigger on the divorce. All of your comments have made my day and are making me realise that better days are ahead. Honestly, yeah, when you get rid of that icky, stinky, gross baggage, things get so much better. Edit number 2, I forgot to mention that for the first time ever, right after I mentioned him fucking younger women, I told him to fuck off. Some answers to common questions. I own the house. I bought it before we even started dating. He will not be getting it in the divorce. We also do not have children together, but he does have 3 from prior marriages, relationships. Lastly, STBXH means soon to be ex-husband. Oh yeah, of course. I just read the X thing. I didn't read the H on it, actually. I'm so used to it just being written as soon to be ex. I was going to say, he's already an ex. He's just not an ex on paper. So, down in the comments, Embarrassed Hat 2904 says, yeah, young women love older men who can't even afford to pay for their own lifestyle. And then Van City Marla says, and live with their ex-wife because they can't afford to move out. Which, seriously, OP, put a timeline on that shit or he is never going to go. Where he goes is absolutely not your problem anymore. Exactly. Okay, so these next 2 posts are going to be from r/true off my chest. This one was posted by OKEstimate9797. My parents replaced me years ago, and now my ex is marrying my sister. I think I'm done with trying with people. Do you know what? I think I would be too. Yes. Yeah. What on earth? So, I don't really have anyone to say this to, so I guess I'm just putting it here. When I was about 7, my parents divorced because my mum cheated, she left pretty quickly after that, and started a new life somewhere else. I tried reaching out to her a few times growing up, but it was always awkward, and sure, eventually she basically made it clear that she had moved on and didn't want to reopen old parts of her life. Before all that happened, my dad and I were really close, and I didn't have many friends as a kid, so he was kind of my whole world. I used to sleep in his room because I was scared at night. We would paint together on weekends, little stuff like that. At the time, I thought that was just how life was going to be. Then, when I was 8, he remarried, and honestly, that's when everything started to change. At first it seemed fine, but slowly I could feel myself becoming less important in the house. My stepmom had a daughter who was around my age, and my dad started focusing on her more and more. I don't even know if he realised he was doing it. He stopped asking about my drawings and paintings. We stopped doing things together. Family pictures started to feel weird too. In almost every photo from the past 10 years, he's standing with them smiling, arm around my stepsister, and I'm somewhere at the edge or not in the picture at all. I started feeling like I was just there, like an extra person in the house. Honestly, I hate reading these stories where people get new partners and then they basically, because they're so focused on their new partner, prioritizing their kid, what, just to like try and impress them or something? Like, mate, you have a whole ass kid that is yours biologically. What are you playing at? You know, I understand trying to make it work when you're blending families and wanting to make sure that all kids feel important in the house, including your stepkids. But when that's at the detriment of your own, I think that's really messed up. I tried really hard not to let it get to me, but it did. Because of all of that, when I met someone at work a few years ago and he actually paid attention to me, I fell for him pretty hard. We were together for 3 years. I honestly thought he was the one person who really saw me. I thought maybe this was finally my chance to have my own life and not feel like the leftover person all the time. But A few months ago, we broke up and now he's engaged to my sister. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Finding that out felt like someone just confirmed every bad thought that I've had about myself my entire life. My mum didn't want me, my dad replaced me, and now the person I loved picked my sister over me. At this point, I'm honestly just tired of trying to find love in people who make me feel like I'm second place. Lately, I've been thinking that maybe someday I'll just build my own life, stay single, and adopt a child. At least then I can make sure that that kid never grows up feeling invisible or unwanted the way I did. Anyway, I just needed to get this off my chest because I don't really have anyone else to talk to about it. I would absolutely 100% urge the OP, if I was stood in front of them right now, to go to therapy. Not because I think there's something wrong with the OP, but because I think that the way people have treated them is going to give them a very skewed image about themselves that is not true, like the self-worth, which has obviously been addressed by the OP, that they don't really have much of a sense of self-worth, and that leaves them very vulnerable to very nasty people that will prey on that, knowing that, the OP's likely to just let them do whatever because of not wanting to lose someone. So I would definitely, if I was in front of the OP right now, I'd say, look, go to therapy, forget everybody else. They are not worth it. It says way more about them than it ever does about the OP. And yeah, just move on with life in the best way that they can. So, down in the comments, Tursa78 said, your life would infinitely improve if you simply treated your family as if they were dead and grieved the loss and moved on with no contact. There simply isn't any value left in you maintaining any contact with any of these people in your life. Honestly, yeah, I know that going no contact is a very drastic step a lot of the time for a lot of people, but these people have shown the OP time and time again how they are going to treat the OP and, where they are putting them as far as importance to them. And that does not have any bearing on how important the OP actually is, because everyone is their own person and everyone is important in their own way. It just says that they're shit people who are taking advantage of someone that they've beaten down for years. So the OP then replies to that saying, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's terrifying to think about being completely alone, but it's even more painful to stay and keep being treated like a ghost in my own family. I think I'm finally reaching that breaking point where peace matters more than trying to fix things that aren't mine to fix. Okay then, last post for the day, posted by Shoegaze Weedbed. Okie dokie then. I love my kid, but I wish his package could have come in the mail another day. I will probably end up deleting this in 5 minutes, but just found words to express it, and shit's not real in 2026 unless you say it to an audience. Honestly, it feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? Since deleting all social media, apart from my Instagram that I barely ever actually use, that's linked to, obviously, this channel, I feel like I've just completely stepped away from society in a way, because everything is so online, social media based now, that I feel like I've stepped into a cave. And at first it was weird, and now it's really nice, and I don't want to come out my cave actually. I'm quite happy in here. Anyway, without giving my whole boohoo backstory, here are the basics. I grew up with an extremely chatty and obnoxious alcoholic, drug addict parent. My entire childhood and a lot of my early adulthood involved being held verbally hostage, retold the same stories, etc. And a whole shitload more, but that's not directly relevant. If you can imagine a slobbering, drunk, up person telling you the exact same story, down to laughing at themselves at the same spots, for the 4th time that night and then repeating the punchline multiple times to gauge how hard you laugh. Yeah, dude. Nightly occurrence. Or worse. It was a shitty time and I'm glad to be away from it. Some days it doesn't matter who you are. I do not want to engage with you. I do not want to speak to you and I don't want to hear your voice. It fills the inside of my head with a pressure, panic, whatever. Some days are better than others, but I don't think I'll ever do well being talked at. I'll probably have issues feeling revulsion at certain types of human connection forever, and I can't really be around drunk people at all, but that's easy enough to avoid the older I get. Honestly, yeah, just stay in the house. Simple. But yeah, I get the talking thing as well. I'm one of those that I get very fatigued very quickly with social interactions, and I'll have days where I wake up and I just don't want to. I don't want to socially interact at all outside of, my kids. On those days, you just know that every fucker on the planet's gonna want to talk to you. And I get I just feel mentally drained on those days and I get so frustrated and I have to keep it in, don't let it out because I think it's not their fault that you're socially inept. But I think it's why I like doing these videos and why I do it as a hobby because it lets me have that experience of talking and sharing stories that I find interesting with people without having a direct back and two. I can have the back and two in the comments and talk to you all afterwards, but it's I can just get out that need for some verbalization and sharing the story without having to worry about the social interaction of it all, you know? So now to my son, who is almost old enough to drive, but still gets very enthusiastic about certain esoteric topics. About a month ago, he ordered a niche retro computer component. It was his first international shipping experience, and he has been very visibly waiting the entire time since ordering. Oh, bless him. I have made sure to be open and available for him to info dump on me, both to encourage a relatively new hobby and because I'm his dad, and that is what I'm supposed to do. Today has not been a good mental health day for me, and I've definitely not been feeling conversational. So, of course, today is also the day that I get the text. My package has come in today. Can you grab it off the porch if you see it come? Naturally, I'm excited for the kid. Money has been tight, and it's good he got something for himself that is frivolous and fun. And obviously, the text itself isn't the problem, since you can escape a text message convo at any time if needed. But my brains are leaking out my ears right now, man. I don't care if David fucking Lynch or Reggie Miller walked through that front door. I don't want to speak to them. And likewise, I don't want to spend hours listening about a computer component. So, of course, I am humouring the boy because absolutely none of this is his fault. And you'd have to be a real miserable son of a bitch to not understand, at least conceptually, that this is a big deal to a younger person. He bought this shit online with his own debit card, money, and he's pretty pumped. And it's also not his fault that this is taking way too big of a toll on his neurotic ass idiot dad either. This is petty shit. This shouldn't be that big of a deal. For that matter, I would also rather feel like this all the time and have my family here than not have them around, but holy cow, that pressure's building. I really wish that package could have waited another day or two. Edit, sincere thanks to everyone who said something or shared an experience in the comments. I feel like a dweeb replying over and over, but I do read and I do appreciate. Us as parents, we forget that we are human and we are going to have off days. And I think as long as you tackle those off days with some real just honesty and just say, hey dude, I am knackered. I'm so tired. And I'm not being grumpy. I am listening and I am interested. I'm just tired. You know, kids are still little. They're human beings. Yes, they're very little, but they're still human beings and they will understand. So, down in the comments, Scouty Doughty says, God, I've never related to anything more in my life. My roommate comes home and holds me hostage verbally. I've never heard it described like that, but that's exactly how it feels. You feel like you can't get away and that it's very rude to tell them that you don't want to hear it. You're expected to just sit there and nod along. Meanwhile, your nervous system is literally screaming at you to run away, even though there's no danger. The worst is when they're like, are you even paying attention to me right now? Like, girl, you're lucky I'm even in the room with you. And then Sir Chloe 500 says, if I were you, I'd start setting random alarms with the sound of my ringtone and pretend I was getting a call just to leave the room. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough to talk about in this one because I didn't have very many posts. Like the posts all looked a bit short. I forgot that I can ramble. Looking at it now and I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have worried about that at all because it is me. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Governor Void. Welcome. Do not forget to leave an offering of a comment for Big Al. Let me know what you've been watching series-wise lately. So I've just started a series. Now, I've talked about this before, and I'm not big on horror. I can't deal with jump scares and stuff. Like, I have an anxiety disorder. It's not good for me. But I spotted this series and I was like, oh, that actually looks quite interesting. Is it called The Beauty or something like that? And it's down as a horror and an 18 plus, but I don't feel like it's actually a horror. I think it's just down like that because it's a bit gory in places. So I've gotten into that this evening. I've watched 3 episodes back to back whilst I was floating around in the bath. So yeah, that's what I'm watching at the moment. So let me know what you're watching. Anyway, whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.